Okay, we're going live. Let's get everything set up. How do I get to my channel? Oh, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Okay. It looks like there's people. What's up, everybody? Yo. What's up, guys? Okay, hold up. I'm still trying to set this up really quick. So, yeah, just give me a couple seconds. All right. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Matt, Jaren, James, Uriel. What's up, guys? Nike has been down bad these past few months, dude. Let's talk about it. What's up, Louie, Michael? I got a story for you. All right, Terrence, Noe. All right, guys. Cool. It looks like we got people in. So I wanted to do a video today because I didn't know about this for a while, but apparently this has been going on. The Nike Fly Ease Go, which was supposed to be a shoe for like people with disabilities and stuff. It's the shoe that you see like, I think it was hopefully on the thumbnail, but it's the one where you can just like insert your foot and you don't need to tie laces or anything. You don't need to like bend over and stuff. It's literally put your foot in the shoe. The shoe kind of like folds in and then it's good to go and walking and whatnot, right? So all of that was made by Nike for a good purpose, right? They made it for people with disabilities who aren't able to like tie shoes for whatever reasons, and it's just supposed to be for like accessibility and like ease of use. But it kind of backfired on them, and so they actually had an article by Complex that was finished 1 hour ago. By again the homie Brendan Dunn. He was the one that wrote the article about like the Lil Nas X shoes that we talked about last time too. But this article basically is showing that it says as a title, disabled people question Nike over Fly E shoes, which obviously that's a bad thing. And before we get into this whole story and stuff, my background, I gotta let you guys know, is that I used to work with kids with disabilities, right? So as a counselor, I used to work with people with like not only like physical disabilities and stuff, but also like things that inhibit like brain activity and stuff. So I worked with people with autism. I worked with like a bunch of different things, and it was I have a huge passion for that, right? Like the disability sector is such like a under like served community. I want to say like it's just not. I don't know. My wife is in special ed. I was in working with people with disabilities, and when I see stuff like this, where it's like people are reselling shoes that are meant to be for people that really need help, it bugs me. It honestly just frustrates me. As I'm wondering if you guys can see that, but I'm just very frustrated because I have a huge passion for that. Like literally before I did the YouTube full time, I was working with like these kids like every single day, and things like this. It was such a good concept. I was so happy about it, and now it's just backfiring. So basically, what's happening is again the shoe, like I said, Nike did a good thing by creating them, but the problem is maybe not Nike. It goes both ways. The problem is Nike for one because people are reselling these shoes, right? And they're reselling them. They retail for $120. Again, that's a pretty small price point. I mean, most Jordans average about 200, but they retail for 120, which is a good price, so it's accessible. But the fact is that people bought up these shoes, resellers, and they're selling them now on StockX and they're selling them on GOAT for like $400, $500, which blows my mind. Like these things are not meant to be resold. Like, like the whole thing with this is like it's for people that can't tie their own shoes, that they have a hard time putting on shoes, that like they need somebody else to assist them usually because it's such a difficult thing to like try to put up on a shoe and stuff. And so it just really like irks me. And like, I don't know, like I resell shoes and stuff, and already like the resale community has such a bad rap because it's like always people like they care more about money than they care about like the culture and all of this stuff. And when you see this, it really just shows like, yeah, there's a lot of people out here that just really want to make money. And that's not how it should be. So the Complex article is talking about the Fly Ease Go. And I guess apparently like this, I'm not a TikTok person, but this guy, Louis Lingard, who's a 19-year-old, did a reaction video. And the quote is, the shoe itself has been so hyped up and praised for its inclusiveness and its accessibility for people like myself with a disability. that's become limited, and resellers and bots have got a hold of all the pairs and gouged the prices up. Now, if someone with a disability actually needs the shoe for the design purpose, wants it, they're going to have to pay up to the up end of $500 to get it. So apparently that video went viral on TikTok and it got 1 million views on his TikTok account. And it also got 6 million views on Twitter. So it caused like people to start looking into the reason why these shoes are being resold and stuff. And this was not on my radar at all because, when the drop happens and stuff for the Flyes Go, I didn't even look. I didn't even try to get the shoe because I'm not a person that needs it. So I did not even care to look on sneakers that day. I was happy for like people that wanted to go get it and stuff, but it was not even in my mind to like, oh, I got to wake up early and cop this thing so I can resell it or, whatever. I'd rather have somebody else get it, like I don't need this. I can tie my own shoes. I have like, I'm able bodied. I can do this. So I didn't even look. So this was underneath the radar. And apparently like, I guess still people wanted to buy these up and, they bought it up and now they're price gouging like this guy says, who has his own disability, which is super unfortunate, man. Shout out to Arlo Kicks. COVID messed up the shoe culture. I think it was already getting messed up before then, unfortunately, but this is just shining a light on it. So that's the kind of background story of this, right? And we're trying to figure out like, okay, so who's the blame? How can we fix this kind of thing, right? So number one, obviously resellers suck. If you're doing it like this and you're price gouging for like shoes that are not meant to be like resold and stuff, that's brutal. There's no like excuses for that, man. Like, okay, people are gonna say no, get your bread or get that bag or whatever. It's all about the hustle and stuff, but no, not for this one. Especially for me, like coming from that disability background and stuff, I'm like, no, it's not even in my mind where this is right at all. So some blame falls on the reseller. The other part of the blame does come back to Nike though, where there wouldn't be this issue if it was like mass produced. Like you see shoes that are like at the Nike factory outlets, there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of these shoes sitting on the shelves because they can mass produce the ones that aren't super hyped, right? Like I don't even know what a good example is because we don't have a factory outlet here, but whatever the shoe that you see on the shelf at those outlets that are like, they're not like super hyped. They're just everyday kind of shoes. It's the kind of same concept where Nike definitely has the ability, the resources, the factories to make hundreds of thousands of pairs of these things, but they chose not to. It was, I guess, a limited drop. And it doesn't make sense, like if they're about inclusivity, then they should be making enough for everybody. Or like I was seeing people commenting and stuff. Yeah, Prestos, that's a good one. But like I saw people commenting and stuff, do it as a pre-order. That way they can make exactly the amount they need. They're not creating an over surplus, but a pre-order would have been smart. Like if they're truly preaching, they want to get this out to people, make a pre-order. People with disabilities and stuff can get it. If resellers or just regular people want to try it out because it is a kind of dope shoe to look at and maybe it's cool to wear, and you don't have a disability but you want to like it for the style and stuff, then make it a pre-order. Then that would have been super, super smart because they're making exactly the quantity that people needed, and there wouldn't have to be an aftermarket for this. Okay. The other onus also falls back onto sneaker reselling apps. I think that a way to like get rid of this price gouging and stuff and reselling and all of this stuff is also to not make it you can't sell it on the app. Other shoes like customs and stuff can't be sold on StockX. They can't be sold on GOAT. But the Flyes Go, it's there, and so if these people like they care about the community and stuff like they're saying, they're all for inclusivity and stuff, make it a thing that you can't resell on the app. Then that also limits the second aftermarket, definitely for StockX and GOAT, they have the capability. For eBay, it's a little bit more tough, I guess, just because you can really post whatever the heck you want on there. But still, it might limit, resellers trying to like resell, and that's something that it needs to be done. Like if you are really trying to defend resellers, I don't know what to say. Like I do resell shoes on my own, and I understand, but there's just other shoes to do it on. Like literally, there are people, and if you don't have people with disabilities in your family and stuff, it can be a struggle, man. Like these things are supposed to be made for people that need it. They need the help. They need the support, and it's just not getting done. And so, I don't know, man. That just it kind of bugs me, and that's why I wanted to get on with you guys. So I'm gonna have some people calling in a little bit, but let me just kind of finish the story on Complex. I didn't get to read the whole thing. As soon as I saw it, I was like so like triggered that I just was like, okay, we got to go live because I need to vent to somebody, and I want to vent to the people that watch the channel. So let's see. On some level, the Go Fly Ease is a shoe designed for disabled people, meant to solve a need for a market that hasn't historically had cool footwear options from big brands. That's exactly right. If you wanted like shoes like this, there are like smaller companies that make them like specifically for people with disabilities, but it was never like hype. You know, like there was always just going to be like some random name about it, but it wasn't Nike, it wasn't Adidas. If Nike wants the shoe to fulfill that goal, it has to be more explicit about their intent and more purposeful in the way it releases them. All right. So this Lingard guy that did TikTok has been collecting sneakers since 2016, but he has to skip out on some because of his disability. Yes, perfect sense. Kobe's are too narrow. It doesn't work, is what he was saying. Okay. So it's just trying to show like, okay, so this is the reasons why this person on TikTok, I guess, was making these videos. So it looks like what they're going on to say is that the Go Fly Ease will hopefully get easier to get in the future. Because obviously, like it'll start getting more mass produced. But right here is a weird one too. A Nike spokesperson declined to comment for this story, but pointed to the Nike app's product description of the Go Fly Ease for reference of how it was released. What? We are kicking off the launch of this shoe with an opportunity for more adaptive athletes and people of all abilities to purchase. We've offered the shoe first to the members who've had the most interest in our Nike Fly Ease products. Additional colorways of Nike Go Fly Ease will be available later this year. That there's okay, so that's confusing again because it just is basically sending it out as a blast to everybody that has a Nike app that was like I guess looking at the Nike Fly Ease, but there's no like check mark box for people with specific like disabilities and stuff that need the shoe. So there was no way of knowing who they're giving pre-orders to or like early access to. It doesn't work like that. So that sounds like a deflection kind of comment for sure. Let's see. The explanation like Nike gives for how it decides to drop the shoes is not very transparent. Exactly, Brendan. Good comment over here on Complex. It suggests that there was an effort to give disabled people and those who logged activity around similar shoes in the app priority for the Go Fly Ease. Still, that doesn't seem to be the case, is what they're saying, and there's 1,600 pairs available on StockX. Ugh. Oh, and look, this is a perfect comment. I don't want to completely attack reselling because we've all bought shoes for resale. 100% correct is what I'm saying. It's just something that you have to do when you're into sneakers, but this is a different case, man. This is for people that seriously cannot put on shoes and stuff, and it was meant for people with disabilities. So I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know what you guys' comments are and stuff over here, but I'm going to open up the fan line. Oh, did Jacob come through? Let me see. The homie Jacob always got good stuff here. Anyone who got this shoe was selected at complete random. Nike, yeah, exactly. I don't know, dude. It's all weird. Where's Jacob's other comment? I'm trying to find it. Nike and StockX doesn't want to limit resellers. Yeah. This is so true. Dude, see, okay. Let's start getting people on the line. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Again, maybe I'm completely wrong on this. Everybody has an opinion, and maybe you guys think, okay, it's okay to resell it. But again, I work with people with disabilities every day, guys. I don't have any people in my family directly that has like physical disabilities. My grandmother is like completely deaf, so it's more of like a brain one. But other than that, I don't have anybody directly in my family that has disabilities. But just seeing like families and working with kids and families every day that have these things, dude, I'm gonna tear up. I'm gonna tear up. There's definitely struggles that families face, dude. And like I've worked with kids in wheelchairs. I've worked with kids that have to use like every single day use like crutches and canes and stuff. And that's not something that doesn't go away. So again, the concept was nice. The execution was very poor. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the fan line. So I'll open this thing up. Again, if you guys are new to this, you guys are able to call in to this number 505-207-4641. And then it selects people at random to come in and talk. And what I want your guys is like this discussion to be focused on is your thoughts. Who's to blame here, I guess? How can we fix this? I think we hit a lot of points so far, but I definitely always want to hear your guys' opinion of it because I'm just one person, This is my personal thing behind this. Am I still going to buy Nike and stuff? Yeah. Do I think they botched this? Yes, for sure. Can they grow from this? Yes, and they should actually release like a positive statement about it, dude. They were so quick to react to like the Lil Nas X thing by suing them. Why do they not want to comment for this? You know, like people from the disability community is like a very small number, like maybe less than 1 or 2% of the U.S. Have disabilities, so it's very very small. But that doesn't mean they're not there. It's still a community of people. It's still somebody that needs to like their voice wants to be heard. So that's why I'm trying to speak up for it because people need to speak up about it, dude. Like seriously, like there needs to be people talking about this stuff. So that's why we're getting in about it right now. So yeah, the phone line is open. It looks like we have a couple callers coming in already. Quick rules about this. Nobody bash anybody, I guess, that has their own opinion and stuff. So again, come in with like open minds and stuff. And just I want to hear you guys' opinions, but we're not trying to like hammer anybody specifically or anything like that. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to answer. I'm not sure who's coming on, but let's go. Doctor's Note. That's an interesting one. I saw that, Captain Deadpool. Hey, what's up? You're on the line right now.
Hey, yeah,
Who am I
they
speaking to
wanted
right now, man?
to
What's your name and where are you from?
Jason from Texas.
Jason. Okay, what's up, Jason? So what's your thoughts on this, man?
Well, if they wanted to market it for the disability, which I mean, I didn't really look at it as a disability show. I mean, I see how it works like that, but I just thought it was kind of cool and neat because I'm sort of lazy. I didn't really see the disability side. I see where it plays in, but they should have then done a release, for disabled. I mean, it totally falls on Nike. I mean, like Jacob said, if you get handed a shoe pre-release, you're gonna sell it.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, for sure.
So I blame Nike for it. If they're going to get on the disability market, then release it for disabled people.
But that's the problem, right? Where it's like, so I kind of know a lot about this area, right? Where it's like when you fill out a job application and stuff, due to certain like laws and stuff that are in play with our country, you can't ask somebody directly if they're disabled or not. It's the same thing where you can choose
Oh,
like yeah, so like for gender and stuff, you went on like a job application, right? It says you can put male, female, or choose not to disclose. It's the same thing for the disability portion where you can choose to disclose a disability, but you're not required to. So Nike can never ask people like straight up, do you have a disability? Yes, we'll give you the shoe. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Just because of laws and
yeah.
stuff that
I
are in
didn't think
place.
about that.
Yeah, man. So that's why I'm trying to see it from both sides, and that's why I appreciate you people like you calling in where you have ideas and you're trying to figure it out with me. But it's I guess it's not as simple as like we just hope like okay if you have a disability check yes and then we'll give you a shoe because they can't do that per se. So that's why it gets a little bit weird.
If they truly wanted to be, magnanimous about it and make them for disabled people, I guess they should have then made them and given them to disabled people first. It might have eased up a little bit of the controversy.
Right, for sure. And that's why I think the pre-order makes the best sense, because definitely that allows people with the disabilities to get it. But also, if normal people just wanted to get it because they do look sick and they're cool, then they can order it too, right? So that way it appeases both sides because there are going to be people that just want to wear it because it is a shoe, and they're not going to have a disability, but they still want it. So that pre-order would have hit both sides, and there would have been no like issues with like reselling and stuff either. So hopefully they do have
Yeah,
time to like kind of turn this around. Like Jacob was saying over here. Jacob, call in, man, so we can talk about it. But yeah, I think like when the release does happen and stuff, it's gonna hopefully they have a different change on it. But right now, like just the fact that there already is like reselling factors and stuff coming into play, it's so weird. It's just a very weird thing.
yeah. I guess StockX and Goat should probably take it down just to be, good about it. But yeah, thanks for taking my call, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, yeah. You have a good one, man. Thank you for calling in. We'll talk later.
Okay,
Bye.
you too. Bye.
All right. So we'll click end on this one. All right. Okay, so what Jacob is saying is, I don't think Nike cares at all. If it's a performative and a shitty release for sure, yes. Um, Now what happens is when the shoe does release, people who are struggling during the pandemic are going to see this as a way to profit due to them being a limited release. Exactly. So exactly, that's exactly right. So it was like a pre-release or whatever. Some people got early pairs and stuff, and so it creates a market already, and so resellers are already going to see like people when a shoe drops you go to StockX and you go to Goat like before the drop and you're like okay retailing for 120 these things are already on StockX for 500 I see bids for 400 I'm going to try to get this shoe and I'm going to put it up for 400 at least like it creates a market already and that's what Jacob's trying to say where he has a very good point where it's like, drop it all at once. Don't do like a little like spurts of this stuff. Drop it all at once or make it a pre-order. That's how you handle it. All right, let's get somebody else in here. Hey, what's up? You're on the phone right now.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. What's your name and where you from?
Marcus. I'm from New York.
Marcus. Okay, Marcus, what's your thoughts on this stuff going on?
So to me, I don't blame Nike or the apps as much as the resellers.
Okay.
I get what you were saying as far as like what Nike could do, what the apps can do, but I just feel like this is just as low as like reselling Kobe's like around when he passed.
That's
Like
a good one.
it's just like I get it. We all got to make money. I know we're all struggling, but it's just there's certain things that you just shouldn't do. And like selling these sneakers for like $500 is just ridiculous. I don't even like personally. I get like what the sneakers are made for as far as like disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
In my personal opinion, I don't think it's just like a good looking sneaker at all. But that's neither here or there.
Right.
I don't understand like why it's like that high. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't. If that makes sense. But it's just crazy.
Do you okay, let me speak to that so a little bit. So kind of what we saw in the article, right, where it was like there probably are already shoes that are similar to this for people with disabilities, but they were never like brand name shoes. So like this guy that did the TikTok stuff or whatever, people have been waiting, or like people with disabilities have been waiting for something that's like actually has a brand name on it, Adidas, Nike, whatever it is, something that's a little bit more cool. So I'm thinking why there's a reselling market and who's buying it, because you always got to wonder, okay, who's paying these prices? It could be the families of these kids, where it's like, okay, we always wanted to get our kid, something dope. He's always wanted to wear Jordans and stuff, or he always wanted to wear Nikes. Like now we have an opportunity, so we can't get it anywhere else. We're going to pay it the aftermarket price, So I'm thinking that's where the market's coming from.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just sad that people have to go through these lanes when they have, other things I'm sure that they need to like spend on, and like, that person's family or whoever, like they knows they really want, a Nike that they can finally put on with ease, and now they got to pay 500 plus just for that. It's just sad.
Yeah, I definitely agree, brother. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. Like comparison to the Kobe suit. That was something that I didn't think about. It's like you're seeing like, I guess, the worst in people, where it's like they try to take advantage of situations and stuff and make a quick buck, which is kind of like, as a moral standpoint, it's like, that's gross,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, brother. Okay, we're gonna try to get other people on the line. I appreciate your thoughts, though. Take it easy.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. All right. So I see everybody's wanting this Will Glasser online. Sorry, guys, I can't choose who comes on. It's like there's literally like the only thing I can do is click answer. So, until I get Will in, and then I will come on after. All right, yeah. So I'm trying to like answer, and hopefully I get to you guys. I don't know who's next. What's up? Who's on the line?
Hey, what's up? This is Lorenzo. I am a longtime viewer, longtime listener.
Right. What's up, man? Thank you for calling in. So what's your thoughts on this?
So in my opinion, obviously it creates a market.
Mm-hmm.
But from a moral standpoint, yeah, I don't agree with it. Just like from the Kobe standpoint, you shouldn't be doing that. But obviously, there is this idea of like the pre-order. Like there a while back they came out with these Cristiano Ronaldo Air Force Ones maybe like a month ago or something like that, like through Nike ID. And people really thought that they were going to resell, and then they ended up sitting on the website for maybe like, a week, 2 weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people were canceling their orders and stuff like that. But obviously, I personally went for it. I kept it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I said I really liked it. And, it just brought this idea of like, oh yeah, I can have a pre-order of a product I want, and, it's readily available. You can make it. And so I feel like if Nike were to go with that pre-order way, then I feel like it makes it available for everybody. The reason I guess that this is something that's huge for people is because obviously, yes, the brand name, but also there was a celebrity attached to it, Jimmy Fallon, who helped to create the shoe. And, he was the first person to get it. Of course, it's limited amounts, limited release, but in my opinion, it's not the right thing from a marketing standpoint. I mean, obviously, big businesses are going to want to make money however they want to, right?
Right.
And even though there's a message behind it, you can't do it, like they're going to want to do it anyways. And resellers, I mean, on that standpoint, again, it goes back to the Kobe thing. Like, there are a lot of consignment stores that like took off their Kobe products from their stores for a while because they didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. And so they said, well, let's just, wait it out a little bit. And I mean, now they've gone back to reselling Kobe's as usual. But what they did is they would, give some profit to, like causes or back to the Bryant Foundation. I feel like if StockX or Go wanted to do that, they should absolutely be giving like, some sort of charitable donation to
That makes
like
sense.
the ADA, things like that. That's just my opinion, but
that's a really good point, dude. Like that's honestly a good point. Like they're taking if they're gonna keep it up there, whatever, capitalize on the hype. Whatever their fee is, like 8 to 10% or whatever, they could donate all of that or whatever to a cause. That makes a lot of sense too. Instead of taking it down completely, they could just use that funding or whatever for charitable organizations. I like that idea.
Right.
That was enlightening. So thank you for your call, man. We're gonna get Will on the line. I think he said he's next though. So appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Yeah. All right. So, Jacob, I saw that you wanted to jump in or whatever, and you have thoughts. I can try to invite you after we get Will on the phone, and that way you can kind of bypass this. But the only problem is your face is going to be on the screen, so I don't know if you're ready to be on camera. But let me talk to Will first, and then if you have time, I'll send you a text message, and it'll have the link for the direct guest. Okay, so this should be Will. What's up? Is this Will?
Yeah, speaking.
Hey, Will. Okay, everybody wanted you on, so yeah, happy to hear your thoughts, man. Glad you got picked up on the line.
Yeah, me too. Gotta be honest, kind of surreal because I've been watching your show for like 3 years now. So.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for making videos. So I just kind of want to give some context, like why this hits close to home for me.
Okay.
And this might take a little bit, so I just want to throw that out there.
Nope,
but
we got all the time.
It's called spastic diplegia. So it's a form of cerebral palsy, and it tightens my hamstrings, and it curves my lower back especially. My whole back's kind of out of whack, but my lower back especially. I'm very fortunate to the point where it's a very minor case, and I've got a really understanding, supportive family and friend group around me that's really built me up. And fortunately, it's never really affected me to the point where like the Fly E's is really going to be a shoe that I need. I can wear shoes like Dunks and Jordan 3s and Jordan 4s, Jordan 1s, like all of that kind of stuff, no problem. The issue for me, though, is that I have AFOs. So for those of you who don't know what they are, they're just leg braces that you slide into your shoe, and I have to wear them because I need to make sure I can actually walk heel to toe, and that brace makes sure I do that. So SB is kind of my go-to because like they're perfectly built for them. So thank God there's a hype again. But the issue with this one for me is I also want to throw out I resell, and when I saw this shoe coming out, I was really excited because growing up when I had to buy braces and I had to get special things for my shoe, I always wanted to have a shoe that would work for me, and buying stuff was really hard. And even now it's hard talking about it because I can see in the comment section like people saying, hang up on him, what the fuck is he talking about? Pardon language. What is he talking about? He's from Moscow. I'm not. I'm just outside of Detroit, and this is a real story. Like, I could send you guys pictures of my leg braces right now if I wanted to. And it really just kind of reiterates, it's like this whole idea that people don't really care about disabled people. And I get it. It's there's an opportunity for a profit, and, as a reseller, I understand that you took it, but it's like, I felt like, even though this shoe isn't going to be something for me, I know there are a lot of people who really need it, and I feel like people should just come together and let people have this one victory for once. Yeah. It's super hard, growing up with wearing leg braces and having to buy special things and always standing out from everybody else. Like, I couldn't wear Nikes growing up because they wouldn't fit for my leg braces. I couldn't wear this. I couldn't wear that. and you know, it's you know, Nike finally made a shoe for people, you know, not like me, but like, you know what I mean. And now they can't even have that opportunity to like fit in just a little bit, and it really feels like a slap in the face.
That's true. It's true.
So
Yeah. No, I thanks for sharing all of that, Will. I appreciate, you know, you being candid with all of that and stuff. And yeah, you don't ever need to prove anything to anybody, man. Like you don't need to send in pictures or whatever just to get that point across. It's, you know, just I understand, you know, that's tough to deal with, and this is exactly the kind of people that I was working with every day when I was counseling and stuff too. And unfortunately, yeah, you're right. You know, like people with disabilities and stuff are, like I said, a very small community of people, and so they're often overlooked, and people just don't take the time to like try to understand, you know, what the disability is or like how it can help and all of this. And people don't understand like simple struggles, like it literally, if like you're in a wheelchair and there's no wheelchair access to get into a building, how are you going to get in the building, you know? Like people take all of this stuff for granted, and it's just like there's so much little things that everyday life is so different for people with certain disabilities and stuff, like not only physical but like mental and stuff too. And it's just something that, like, you know, if you don't think about it and like really like sit down and like think of this stuff, then you just miss it. And that's why I never like throw anybody under the bus about it, because it's easy to miss, you know, because the media and stuff doesn't put it at the forefront either. Only when it's like a big controversy like this, and it'll be shown, like a light will be shown on it, which is nice. And that's why you want to capitalize on it when you can and talk about it, because there are people with these needs. There are people that need this stuff. So that's why I do appreciate you calling in, and I thank you for your story, man. And yeah, it means a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, it means a lot for you to, you know, have me on here. Like, you know, yeah, I mean, even like the thing, even like with what you said, it's, you know, people capitalizing on it, and it's great to see that there's a lot of backlash. Like, it really does feel good that a lot of people are mad about this.
Yes,
but you know, at the end of the day, it's like I'm not at all surprised. You know, and
that's sad. That it shouldn't be like that. That's why, you
especially,
know, like it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't. And I'm not at all surprised. Like, I'm still gonna face challenges. Like, you know, I had to get leg braces again back in like September, which is the first time in like close to 10 years. And so now I got to go through like my entire sneaker rotation, like get rid of a bunch of stuff because there's stuff that I like can't wear anymore. And now Nike, it's like, and then when the shoe was announced, it's like finally Nike's making something great for disabled people. And then I was like a day later, I thought, wait, what if it's limited? And it is. And it's like, you know, same thing with like the VP selling shoes through her son, or you know, Nike knows how reselling works. It's obvious. So they could have avoided this, and they didn't. It just sucks all around. It's just a bummer. But
I agree. And so,
you know,
they have time to correct it. So let's just be hopeful, you know, because there is an opportunity for them to correct it. And that's why doing things like this, like even though we're a small like channel or whatever, hopefully, you know, it might get into somebody's ear, you know, and then they can see, oh yeah, pre-order does make sense. Let's go with that instead, you know. So hopefully that does help. But thank you again for calling in, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can get Jacob on the line. But thanks for calling in, Will. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, you have a good one, man.
I just want to clarify.
What's up?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I misread something in the comments section about people saying like I was fake. The Moscow thing was about Jacob Starr. I'm gonna be completely honest. I know who Jacob. You're great. I don't watch your content all the time. I just got a mix up, and I thought people were saying that, but
okay.
That's my bad. So I want to formally apologize to everybody in the comment section about that. That's my bad.
No problem, Will. Thanks, man. Yeah, I was I didn't know what was going on with that either.
Thank you.
Okay, Will, take it easy.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. See you.
All right. So let's see if I can invite Jacob directly now. So there's just an invite guest thing. That's why. And I think I can, but I'm not. Maybe I have to close this first. Okay. Now let's see. Sorry if you guys were on the line. My bad. I'm just trying to invite Jacob right now. So I know you guys want to hear from him, the homie. All right, Jacob. I just sent you a invite. So hopefully you got that via text. And then it's just going to open up onto your screen. Oh, dude, this is a heavy segment. I'm feeling all the feels right now. Man. Yeah, I don't know. This stuff just really gets me worked up. And what was cool is, like, you know, when they were hyping it up and stuff, I see, like, one of the first things when you type in Nike. Oh, Jacob's ready. Okay, I'll get to Jacob first, and then we'll finish that story.
Yo,
what's up, man?
Am I visible? Am I in here?
Yeah, I can hear you good too. You look beautiful.
Hey, we out here. Thank you, man. Thank you.
You know.
So what I think I missed what Will said about me. I think people were saying that they corrected something.
No,
I
you know,
had to,
it just I think it was a misunderstanding or something in the comments. Yeah, it was just something weird.
Oh, well, either way, I love you, Will. Anyways, so this is my thing that like, people. First, I think people are getting like the only real issue with this whole situation, in my opinion, is that Nike did a pre-release to create hype around the shoe that they are marketing towards people with disabilities. Everything else, like you just really can't, like you can't control. Like the original TikTok that went viral is like botters and resellers. Botters had nothing to do with this release, at least in the US, right? Botters didn't bought this release. This was a completely random. If you woke up whatever day and you were like, oh, hey, I can get this shoe. And then you look and you're like, oh, this shoe is reselling for X amount of money. Now, personally, if this shoe release, right, I'm a reseller. Everyone knows that. I make that quite clear. I literally have a series on my channel, Turning Clothes into Cash. I would not go for this shoe for my own personal ethics, right? That's just me. I don't need to. But that being said, I can't know everyone's struggle, right? I don't know what, like everyone thinks that like every reseller is like some 15-year-old kid with their mom's credit card. And that's just not the reality. Like, you know, a little bit more about my background than a lot of these, a lot of people that watch me. I've been homeless. Reselling is what paid for my mom's breast cancer treatment. We paid for her chemo treatment. Reselling paid for my stepdad's prostate cancer when his chemo treatment when he had prostate cancer.
Right.
So it's like essentially, and you could say, okay, go get a job, but like I'm a veteran with no real skill at that time when I started reselling. Like, I'm not gonna get a job that would pay for my parents' chemo treatment. You know, this is for my parents' chemotherapy. That's just not gonna happen. So like, I think the idea to like knock a reseller when it's in reality they literally have no control over it, right? And mind you, I was someone who said I disagree with reselling Kobe's. You know, maybe in like 10 years when people aren't buying Kobe's just because he passed away, but like I never cared about Kobe's. I still have never copped a pair of Kobe's. I never went and tried to buy a pair of Kobe's. I don't even like, anytime I've ever gone for Kobe's, I've gone for Kai's size because I know he's a fan of Kobe's, so I could just literally just give them to him.
Right.
So it's like, I just think there's a lot of like misdirected anger, and there is a little bit of, you know, anger to be had. Like with Will's situation, obviously it's something that affects him personally. You know, all I would say is that, you know, this shoe will see a general release. The biggest issue with this shoe is the fact that now that Nike did this and created so much hype around the shoe, there are going to be people who are not in a position where they feel like they can skip out on a release because they feel like they got to take care of their family. They feel like, well, this is what I do. I got to put food on my family's table. And this shoe is reselling because Nike hyped it up by making a limited release. In reality, they never had to do that. They could have literally just dropped this shoe. Like they do any other Flyknits, anything. You know, this shoe could be in outlets. And like you said, a pre-order. Yeah. You know, they know what they're doing. Just like when they do the Nike ID dunks. Those are pre-orders, but those are still almost impossible to get because they literally just turn the pre-orders off. They could give those to 300,000 people. They choose not to. And it's like, I just feel like in general, the whole like hatred towards resellers is just extremely misdirected, and botters. Because like I said, botters literally have nothing to do with it at all.
That's why I appreciate your take, because I do know you know like that world way more than I do. I have no idea about like bots and all of this stuff, so I do appreciate that take. And I do want to mention too, like from your standpoint, what you're saying about creating a hype around it, they did exactly know what they're doing, because you know they were talking about, you know, Fallon showing it on the show, his show, to a mass audience, and as we know, a lot of people got like early access to these as well, where it was like I think Seth Fowler did a review, you know, got a bunch of views, and then I remember Jack Slade did one where I can pull it up now. This thing got almost 1 million views, you know? So there was definitely like, they were sent the early shoes to market, right? To create like a hype and stuff. But if they didn't do that.
Might have bought it, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I know. That was in February
That was in February for Jack Slade.
I just know a lot of the shoes that he gets, he pays a lot of money to get early pairs. I don't know for that particular pair, but I know I personally know that he has paid a pretty big price to get shoes early to review.
Okay.
But that could be a different story. Right. Yeah, I don't know that one.
Okay.
That could be a different story.
Right. But still, it's like
another thing I wanted to say is I want to say something about Daniel's comment too. He said you could say the same thing about vintage tees, but it's not the case because it's vintage. That's another thing with this whole even this Kobe situation. Like, I'm not against reselling the shoe because of Kobe's passing. I'm against reselling the shoe because it has hype because of his passing. Because I sell T-shirts that have people that are no longer alive on the shirt, but no one cares because that shirt's 30 years old, 40 years old. It's no longer a thing, right? It's not some crazy hype wave. Like, you know, I mean, I've sold Tupac tees. No one cares when I sell a Tupac. No one's like, oh, you're profiting off the death of Tupac. You know, like no one cares about that. But for me personally, if Tupac was still alive, who knows? Maybe he is. But if he was, right, and he died yesterday, and then the price of Tupac tees went from 50 to 400, I'd feel kind of weird selling Tupac tees at 400 when I know that people are just buying Tupac tees because he died yesterday and they want to be like, you know, it's just like when people die and their followers go. I've always thought that was personally kind of weird, which is why I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like on the other side of that, it's like there's a lot of people that I know that, you know, there's a lot of shoes that I've wanted throughout my past. Like, you know, like I just got my Grail sneaker not too long ago, the 06 Supreme Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at it like, you know, hey, maybe someone else wanted that shoe that actually liked Kobe, you know?
Right.
I really wish I would have made Tony's live yesterday, but I was busy because there were so many things throughout, because Tony talked about this yesterday as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many things that people said in that live that, like one guy said like, you know, and he seemed like a really nice dude. I'm not trying to like put him down, but he was like, oh, I was never a big fan of Kobe, but I wanted a pair to like honor his greatness. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you weren't even, like, you just said.
You weren't a fan, yeah. Oh, did we lose you?
Oh, hello?
Okay, you're good.
Hello? I got a call. Anyways.
The video turned off, but we can still hear you.
What you you can hear me now?
We can hear you, we just can't see you. It's okay.
Yeah, it's good. I'm ugly anyways. So then, and then another one was like, one of the guys says, the other one goes, he said in that live, he said something like, I don't resell the shoes when I don't want the shoe anymore. I give it to Goodwill. And I'm like, Goodwill's a fucking reseller. Like, they don't do, like, all they do, I'm in the Goodwill every single day almost, and all they do is try to mark up the prices to cut out other resellers, and they make a profit. Like, if anyone thinks that donating to Goodwill is a good cause, if you ever want to donate your shoes or your clothes, go to your local homeless shelter and you will really give it to someone. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been homeless, so yeah, they might sell it for drugs. I've done it, but you're gonna help out someone. You know, I've always advocated like give back to the homeless, because I'm telling you, you know, there might be 3 people that use your money for wrong, but there's gonna be 3 other people that really use that money and do something good with it. So it's like, I don't know, I've always advocated for that, but then you're at least doing something besides putting money in some millionaire's pocket, the CEO of Goodwill.
True.
I just thought that was really weird. It's just like people don't think that stuff out. And even with this situation, it's so much like quick backlash before they really look at the whole situation. And that's all I ask, is that if you guys are going to hate, just think out your thoughts, you know, like really like think through the whole situation, because it's not resellers. This is literally only thing they mad at is people hyping up the release in general, which is Nike.
Right. Yeah. No. That's why I appreciate your take, because I knew you would have a lot of good points on this, and that's exactly what I was trying to get to the point at like the start of the video too, where I'm not sure if there even is any blame, but we got to figure out whose onus it is, you know. And ultimately, it's hard to change millions of people, like just individuals like us, you know, who want to resell or whatever. It the easiest route to fix everything is always to go through the company that's creating the market, which would be Nike. So there is some kind of like trickle down effect where people can create change at like smaller levels, but ultimately at the top, that's the easiest and, you know, the fastest way to fix everything. So that's why I appreciate Complex's article. You know, Brendan, he focused on Nike where he didn't focus on the reselling aspect. He focused on Nike because that's the quickest and fastest way to change things. So I'm glad you brought that about resellers and stuff too, you know.
Yeah, I didn't even read the Complex article. I've just been seeing people talk about it all over TikTok and like Instagram and YouTube, and I'm just like, and as a reseller, I'm like, man, not every reseller is some like little like rich kid with, you know, not every reseller has their mom to work as like the head of North America sales for Nike. Like that's just not the reality, you know. Like I would say 90% of the resellers are people who would otherwise be working a minimum wage job. That's like, yeah, you have the other resellers that get into it that have money and capital to start with, and they have a huge advantage. But, a lot of the resellers that you meet don't have money like that. Like they're not, some balling reseller. That's just what you see on Instagram with, when you see someone with 300 pairs of shoes.
True. For sure, man. Yeah, and that's exactly true. It's always the bad eggs that always ruin it for everybody else. Like you only see the really worst part of every culture community.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm waiting to see. Okay, well, I know you got to go. Sorry, but I'm just gonna say real fast.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see the first person who has the balls or the audacity to take a picture. You know how they always taking pictures in front of boxes and boxes of shoes, and they're all FlyEase
with like
shoes.
300 pairs of these.
Bro, can you imagine?
It's over for them. They're getting canceled for sure.
Somebody's gonna do it though.
Done for.
Somebody's gonna do it though. I guarantee you. Watch. We'll come back to this, and it'll be like, oh yeah, there's a kid. There he did it.
Yeah, that's gonna be all bad. But yeah, man.
Thanks so much.
I appreciate you having me on. I also appreciate you, giving me that direct link. But
sure.
Yeah, much love, brother. I appreciate you as always.
Take care. Yeah, we'll be in touch, buddy. Yeah, we gotta catch up. Thanks, man. Take care.
Always, for sure. Much
Bye.
love.
All right. I think. Okay, everything looks good again. So yeah, we can kind of close this up. Thank you again to Jacob, dude. Honestly, like one of the most like honest and humble human beings you ever meet in your life. Anybody that ever gives him hate, I am going to be very upset at you because that dude does not deserve it at all. He's 100% A1 about everything on his channel. One of my actual like inspirations for why I started YouTube and stuff too, because he did the thing where it was like always just he turns on his camera and talks about stuff, and that's what I wanted to like mimic. I'm not a vlogger. He vlogs a lot more now, but I always liked his like just one takes where he doesn't have a lot of like chopped up footage either. It was usually like one takes of him talking about Supreme or things like that. So yeah, we became good friends. So I really like value his opinion on things, and I think he did have a lot of good points. Where I still think that there is some trickle down to certain resellers, especially like if there is going to be a guy that takes pictures in front of like 300 FlyEase Goes, then that's the one that's going to ruin it for everybody. And there's some onus still there too, where you can choose to not take it. But again, like I mentioned, and like Jacob mentioned, is we don't know the situation. Like if you lost your job because of COVID and you got to make $300 on that profit and you were able to cop one, then sure, that's okay, maybe that's good. But if you're trying to cop like 10 or 20 of them, that's usually when I have like okay, that's weird. If you're copying one, that's I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Like, okay, that's fine. And yeah, again, it does fall back on the Nike primarily because they are the ones that have control of the supply. You guys know that this entire aftermarket is created off of supply and demand. So how do you meet demand? You increase the supply. And they can do that. So it does fall back to them. So I thank everybody, that came through and stuff. And they, you guys gave your thoughts and stuff. I do appreciate all of that a lot. Even if you guys don't agree with what's going on, or you guys think, okay, it's just people are crying over this and they shouldn't be or whatever, I still think it's important to like have these videos to talk about it because there is some spotlight being shown on a shoe that focuses on people with disabilities. It's important to have these conversations because it's not too often you see in the news like issues about disability or like change for disability, right? Like you can say that there's other like things that are more important to fix in this country and around the world and stuff, but people with disabilities have been around for very, 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 very long. And only, I think, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA bill, I think that was only passed in like the 60s or 70s. So it was only recently like there was some nominal change. And even now, like it's still very, very small. Like people just don't realize it because it's not in the media. Like I said, there's more like flashy things to like focus on and stuff. But there's always going to be like problems in the disability community. They're always going to need funding. They're always going to need help. And that's why if we can talk about this, and shed some light and have people like Will come on and talk about it, it does make a difference in my opinion. So yeah, I do appreciate everybody calling in and that talked about it and stuff. That's pretty much my piece on it. Who knows? Our next thing is just figuring out like what Nike will do next. Like hopefully they see that complex article. Hopefully like videos like this or like Tony's, I guess if he was talking about it yesterday, get trending. So it kind of gets passed around, and people can hear like these opinions and stuff and like valid arguments for like pre-orders or valid arguments for just creating like if you want to create it, just create it. Don't create like hype around it. Like. It definitely like when you're putting shoes on Jimmy Fallon's feet or whatever, and he's showcasing it, then yeah, that's going to create a market, like it's the same thing when Elon tweets about Dogecoin, like it's obviously going to get attention on it. And that's what people want is attention. So there are other ways to do it. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody that came through. Thank you for being respectful, everyone. Thank you for your thoughts. And if you weren't able to call into the fan line, please leave your comment down below. Like seriously, like if you have thoughts about it, if you're like for or against, I want to hear it. Other people that come through on the video like later on, maybe they weren't able to catch the live stream, they want to hear it. So feel free to comment that down below. And thank you guys again for listening to my spiel and me being all emotional about people with disabilities. Like honestly, like that was my job for like 3 years, and it hits close to home. So yeah, thank you everybody, and I'll see you guys on this Friday's episode sneaker collection video. Stay tuned, guys. Anyway, catch you guys later. Thank you, and shoots. Love you guys. Mwah.